Broadcasting live on our central news desk in Limbe on Cam1 Radio FM 99.5, the People's Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 6:45 a.m. news on Cam1 Radio. On our top stories today, the Sosa Football Club of Limbe were beaten by Colombo FC over the weekend by 3-0 in what could be qualified as a one-sided game within the context of the semis of the Cameroon Football Cup. Also, it's been a tragic weekend in the far north regions of the country following the gruesome killing of a gendarme officer by the Boko Haram Islamic sect. Plus, the new United States sanctions against Russia shall also be deciphered in this edition of the news. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the 6:45 a.m. news on Cam1 Radio. I am your presenter, I come Charles Abane. We kickstart this newscast today with something completely different. After promising to severely sanction members of the defense and security forces found guilty of acts of discipline and other unprofessional behaviors earlier this year, the minister delegate at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betia Somo, has swung into action. The sledgehammer of the member of government has fallen on 4 student non-commissioned officers who are undergoing training at the Center for Senior Non-Commissioner Officers. The minister announced over the weekend, stating that the reasons for their dismissal was as a result of a video dated December 23rd, 2023, where they were seen paying allegiance to the traditional ruler of the Bamun clan. Still on ministerial affairs, the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malashi, has barred public service doctors from switching to private sector practice. The minister issued a firm directive to address the increasing number of government medical doctors shifting to private practice. In education, the University of Boya has signed a partnership agreement with Code Rousseau of France to establish the UB Driving School, which will offer international driving licenses. Meantime, government has, through the Director of Roads in the Southwest region, who doubles as Divisional Delegate of Public Works for Mehmet Division, Azange Emmanuel, technically received the first phase of the rehabilitation of the Kumba-Tombel Loom Road. The 30-kilometer stretch of road was received Wednesday, June 12, which this was in the presence of the lead engineer of the Southwest Development Authority, in its acronym SOWEDA, in charge of the road, Daniel Defoe. Members of Media Working Group committed in fighting malaria have also reviewed the essential role of the media in the multi-sectoral fight against the killer disease in Cameroon. This was during a meeting held in Yaoundé. It was also organized by the National Malaria Control Program, NMNCP, and Impact Santé d'Afrique, ISA, in collaboration with the Ministry of Communication and AGC Pro Santé. The Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education, Professor Jacques Famendongo, has announced that the 6th edition of the Cameroon Students Ingenuity Talent Contest, organized to honor and support Cameroonian students and young graduate entrepreneurs, will be held in Douala this week. Minister Famendongo made the announcement during a press conference in Yaoundé earlier last week. The Interim Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Professor Fu Callistus Gentry, and President of the Union of Cameroon Enterprises, Celestin Tawamba, have charted ways of boosting collaboration in a bid to improve the ecosystem of the industries in Cameroon. This was during an audience Professor Foucault granted a delegation of SHICAM officials led by the president. And just to reiterate that over 1,300 young aspiring gendarme officers and soldiers have been dismissed from the recruitment process. The aspiring uniform officers were dismissed for submitting forged certificates during the recruitment process. The information was made known to the public by the minister delegates at the presidency in charge of defense, Joseph Betty Asomo. The Kribi Container Terminal KCT, which manages the port of Kribi Container Terminal, has officially launched an online invoicing platform to facilitate and accelerate the processing of the files of its teeming customers rather. The Kribi Container Terminal announced the launching of the 24/7 online application known as Ipaki External Site IS in a communique made public last week. And just to reiterate and talk about human interest stories, it's been a tragic weekend in the northern part of the country. First in Turu, in the far north region, where a gendarme officer was gruesomely killed during a terrorist attack by the Islamic sect Boko Haram. In Marwa, still in the far north region, 5 children are reported to have drowned within a time frame of 48 hours at the river Mayo Sanaga. And among the 5, 4 are from the same family, with the eldest being 12 years old. In the northwest region of the country, unknown assailants have reported to have set ablaze a truck transporting tomatoes from the west region to Bamenda town. The incident took place at Travelers Junction in center Bamenda town. We shall be coming back to subsequent editions of our newscast concerning this particular story. Meantime, a popular snack bar known as La Saladier in the Cité Sikam neighborhood in Douala has been ravaged by wild flames. According to some people or sources, a critical problem may have been seen at the origin at the inferno, but graciously no life was lost. A secret problem may have been at the origin of the inferno, but graciously no life was lost during the fire breakout. Meantime, a fourth victim is also reported to have died from injuries sustained in a fire allegedly set by a neighbor in Douala's Ndokpati neighborhood. 34-year-old Lemun Pierce succumbed to his burns at the General Hospital in Douala, as local police also confirmed the investigations that also say that a certain Joseph Ngonu set the fire after threatening to kill his fiancée, Mekalina Alida, who managed to escape but was injured during the process. Lenu's wife remains in critical condition at the hospital with severe burns. However, the culprit Ngonu is still on the run as aggrieved family members continue to urge the authorities to apprehend him. I will continue with our human interest page still. Just to say that in sports, rather, we talk as the national sports or the referee of the Littoral Regions Football League have decided to boycott the regional championships due to unpaid debts amounting to more than 10 million francs CFA. In the same light, one of the most reputable training centers in Cameroon, known as the Kaji Sports Academy, continues to denounce the obstacles imposed on it by the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT. It is to this effect that FECAFOOT has suspended the president of Kaji Sports Academy for over 5 years for not participating in any football-related activity. On to a Major League story, Colombe FC, which was facing Aigle Royal de la Menua in the final, or Colombe FC will be facing Aigle Royal de la Menua in the finals of the Cameroon Football Cup 2024. Colombe FC eliminated Isosa of Limbe by 3-0 this past Saturday, which has given them or granted them that opportunity to go to the finals of the Cameroon Cup, while Aigle Royal eliminated Mintak FC by 1-0 to secure a spot at the finals of the Cameroon Cup. Now on to our international page. We shall be talking so many interesting stories today, beginning with The G7 leaders who have agreed to give Ukraine a $50 billion loan backed by profits from frozen Russian investments to help pay for the war-torn nation's recovery. Meantime, new United States sanctions against Russia caused an immediate suspension of trading in dollars and euros on the country's leading financial marketplace. The Moscow Exchange has said the exchange, also known as MOEX, and the Russian central bank rushed out statements as a public holiday in Russia within an hour of Washington announcing a new round of sanctions aimed at cutting the flow of money and goods to sustain Moscow's war in Ukraine. The US military is considering temporarily dismantling the humanitarian pier it constructed off the coast of Gaza and moving it back to Israel on Friday amid concerns that heavy seas could also once again break its just days after it resumed aid delivery operations, multiple US officials said. It will be the second time in a matter of weeks that the fragile pier and causeway system known as Joint Logistics over the Shore of GLOATS as an acronym has had to be moved back to the Israeli port of Ashdod. A final decision is not expected to be made until Friday this week. NATO defense ministers are expected to finalize an agreement on Friday that would give the alliance greater control over security assistance and training for Ukraine's military. An attempt some officials say is meant to give Europe greater responsibility over the aid amid uncertainty over the outcome of the U.S. presidential election this fall. The possibility that former President Donald Trump, who has long been skeptical of providing U.S. military support to NATO and Europe, could win the election is a huge part of why NATO is moving forward with the consolidation plan, said one official familiar with the discussions. A group of international human rights lawyers has accused Russia of internationally or intentionally starving the civilians of Mariupol as a method of warfare during its 85-day siege of the Ukrainian city in early 2022. A 76-page dossier published last week Thursday made the Starvation Mobile Justice Team of the human rights organization Global Rights Compliance look in detail at the siege, which he described as hell on earth in quotes for the port city's residents through the lens of the war crime of starvation as a calculated strategy. President Vladimir Putin said Russia will only end its war in Ukraine if Kyiv surrenders the entirety of 4 regions claimed by Moscow and abandons its bid to join NATO, terms Kyiv immediately dismissed as complete sham and offensive to common sense. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has said she is making good progress in her recovery from cancer and will make her first public appearance in months at the King's official birthday celebration on Saturday. Catherine, who revealed in March she has been diagnosed with cancer, said in a news statement on Friday that she has experienced good days and bad days while undergoing chemotherapy and expects her treatment to continue for a few months more. Meantime, it should also be reiterated that host Germany has kicked off Euro 2024 in a spectacular fashion, hammering 10-man Scotland by 5 goals to 1 in Munich to record the biggest opening match victory in the European Championship history. And just to talk about Sean Diddy Combs, who has returned to his symbolic key to New York City after Mayor Eric Adams said a committee recommended nullifying and rescinding it. Combs, who asked to return the key after video footage obtained by so many other news organs showed him physically assaulting his then girlfriend Cassie Ventura in 2016, according to a June 4 letter Adams sent to the procurers in that part of the world. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we actually end this edition of the news on Cam1 Radio. We thank you for your keen attention and keep on listening to more programs on this particular network. I reiterate the FM or frequency is 99.5 FM and this is the People's Radio. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. I am Ekome Charles Abane.
Audio